Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I thought everything was secured and then things got all weird. Hold on a second. Let me just double check. Oh goodness, my phone's freaking out. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Hello. This is an impromptu live. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if I should be doing this right now. Um, Sitting with a lot of downloads. Sitting with a lot of downloads right now. I think I made this public. I know sometimes it takes a little bit for the, you know, all the tech and stuff to catch up. But if you are new, welcome. This is BOMISpirit. I am Lola Selena. I also go by Island Turtle. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment on all that good stuff. Um, I've got some interesting stuff to be sharing today, and I'm gonna try to stay focused and on track. I'm gonna try my best. Like I said, sitting with a lot of downloads right now, and also there's a lot of energy that is still moving through my body, and so also just want to give you a little heads up about that. That some of you may sense that, especially if that's something that you already experience yourself. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello. Oh, you're on the way to your work? Oh, maybe it's perfect timing for you. Hi. Hey, guys. Hey. Like I said, I debated if I should even do this right now or if I should wait a day or two, but I knew the answer was no. Definitely not in a day or two. So I'm gonna do my best. Um, I just came from Mount Shasta. It was my first time there. It was a great experience. Um, my arrival and departure there was perfectly divinely orchestrated because it actually went against my plans. And I'm very aware as like why Spirit had that happen the way that they did that. And the reason I'm even saying all of this is because you probably already know by the title what I'm going to share here today has is words, Lord, is supportive for grid workers, people who work actively with the grid, people who anchor in energy, people who are also who may identify as being a bridge. Some people who identify as being a bridge, you may also identify as being a channeler. If you're not familiar with those words, that's totally fine. Who are grid workers? There are people that work with Earth's grid, with Earth herself, but like specifically like fixing the grid, balancing the grid, doing energy work with the planet, essentially, with Earth, with nature. That's how I define a grid worker. And it doesn't have to be purely ley lines either. I also want to make that clear. It doesn't have to be purely ley line work either. So much dragon energy in the room. It's not even funny. So grid workers, people who identify as being a bridge. Also, the reason I'm sharing my personal experience, I identify as a bridge, and I know that what I have come into awareness of and have been moving through is not just for me, it's for everyone who does this kind of work of being a bridge. Being a bridge is there's very like niche ways that like someone could embrace like being a bridge, but it's something that it's just kind of part of your essence of how you are, how you operate. Being a bridge is how it sounds, right? It's basically being able to merge or hold a convergence of two very different archetypal energies or groups or collectives, etc. Being able to do that. And there's a lot of people who do that in different capacities. Who else did I put in there? I know I put I know I put another one in there. Who else did I put in this? Oh my God. Yeah, grid workers, bridges, Earth Guardians. That's who. I'm here. I'm a little emotional because there's just a lot in this. Um, and Earth Guardians. Specifically also bringing up Earth Guardians because of what I'm about to share has a lot to do with just nature and like the planet and some interesting activity we're seeing when it comes to like seismology and what have you. Your henna is cute. Thank you. I was playing around with it for Samhain. So it's like my Samhain themed henna. So just playing around, just having fun and celebrating. Love your henna designs, very original. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You guys may be seeing more of that. If I can get my hands on more. I only have like a few cones left. I'm hoping to get posted up somewhere soon, and then I could get more cones. I haven't been doing it too long. This may be like, I don't know, my fifth one that I've ever done. It's just fun. It's a fun, very Zen meditative practice, but that is not why I'm here. So just to give the different definitions, for people who are curious if this is applying to them with the labels and terminology that I'm using. So, as of late, I would say there is a really good chunk of grid workers, um, bridges, earth guardians, who specifically those who have energy that moves through them because you seed energy or you work with energy in these various ways, where you're going through a massive integration right now. Okay. Going through not integration, activation. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Going through a massive activation right now. Um, this, and I know how this is going to sound, but when we get flooded with light energy like this, especially when a good chunk of the collective gets flooded like that, specifically individuals who connect with the planet, specifically people who do work with the planet's energy. Sorry, I'm like feeling so much the earth energy right now. When you receive all that light, you're putting it into the earth, and if enough of us are doing that at the same time, the earth is going to start reflecting some interesting physical manifestations of that influx of light and influx of energy. Hold on, those galaxy shades are gorgeous. Thank you. Over the years, I usually go to Sedona near the end of the year. Sorry, I'm just sitting with that. I was like, I don't know if that's actually accurate, to be honest with you, but we can revisit that. Again, that's not why I'm here. And so, in recent days, again, parts of the collective of grid workers, of earth guardians, of bridges have received a lot of light and a lot of codes. And you would definitely be feeling this physically. It would probably be impacting your heart the most. Your heart, upper chakras, your back, all of that stuff. Um, Yeah, and so just if you've been going through that, you're not crazy. Okay. If you've been going through that, you're definitely not alone. But yeah, in terms of like the planet actually like seeing like these physical manifestations of that earthquake activity, I didn't even realize it. I was like processing all these downloads and then I was like, let me just like look up some stuff. Let me just like see tangibly what's going on. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. There's definitely been some shifting and changing of the seismology with Earth, which is fascinating and definitely fascinating to a lot of scientists who are trying to understand that, trying to track that, monitor that, and also just report on it accurately. Um, but yeah, just wanting to relay that. Um, Again, a lot of also dragon energy as well that's coinciding with this. You guys know I don't normally put out videos like this. I don't normally sit and do lives like this. I felt called to do it. So it just feels like I need to. Um, I just asked because I remember a few times you went in the winter months, December, but I wasn't saying you should or shouldn't. Oh no, no, no. I know, Anna, I know. I don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's interesting that you brought that up because again, I'm just feeling a lot of the earth's energy right now. It's like I'm feeling her like this. Um, there is also some interesting shifts like timeline wise that's happening with that too, because there is such a huge chunk of the collective getting blasted with activations and light right now. It's shifting a lot too in terms of like vibrations and then hence realities and then also timelines. um because you saying that, I'm like reflecting back, um and there's definitely timelines where that's true. Not this current one though, I don't think. Um, yes, but dragons. And so with when Earth goes through a lot of activity like this or a lot of influx like this, a lot of dragon activity tends to kick up as well because a lot of dragons come in all kinds of different medicines and roles and what have you. And even then, these are energies, right? These are also guardians. These are guides for some people, and some people also embody dragon energy themselves. But the dragon energy I'm feeling is definitely more in that realm of like guardian, like keeping watch and helping to balance out, mellow out some of the energies. Um, the energy is very volcanic, earthquakey. It's very much like that right now. And we are on the heels of the full moon Taurus. And I sat with patrons, I don't even remember what day it was. I'm like, been so in it, been so in it. Sometime the last couple days, I sat with the Rainbow Tribe to talk about the full moon in Taurus coming up on the 5th, so literally just in a couple of days. And the astrology for that full moon is insane. Okay, it's insane. Like, it's so insane. We sat for 5 hours, okay, in a live. We also pulled cards. Like, it was like halvesies on the astrology and like the reading cards and channeling and what have you. But yeah, the astrology was very, very rare and complicated. So we had to take some extra time to really get into that. There's like a crazy T square with Venus and Jupiter and Pluto. There's two kite patterns, which is crazy. Jupiter and Mars being the more significant planets in that. And then on top of it, you have like the full moon itself doing stuff with the North Node. And then there's like a couple other things going on in there with like Mercury. Like there's a lot. There's a lot with this full moon in Taurus. And it's not just a simple little like, oh, like here's what's going on for the full moon, right? But I definitely feel like the full moon is tied to some of this influx of activations, um, influx of light, and the shifting of some of the seismology that is going on around the planet right now, especially here in the United States. Um, yeah, so this is just me putting this out there to say if you are part of this collective, this is just confirmation of some of the things you may be feeling or experiencing with yourself. One being even like feeling a little bit more sensitive to the actual energy of the earth and how she vibrates, reverberates, even how she like does shift and move a little bit. You're probably feeling that a lot more intensely. You're also probably feeling a lot of that in your own body. And again, as you are also receiving and integrating this activation. And this activation for some in this collective is definitely a call, okay? Is definitely coming with some sort of calling. You'll know how that applies to you because it's unique to you. It's unique to you. And the way, thank you, Spirit, the way that that calling comes through, I want to say some of you are like having a really hard time not hearing it, maybe believing it, actually. Maybe more believing than hearing it, because I think you're hearing it. I think you're hearing it. I think you're receiving it. Probably also via dreams, too, is probably showing you a lot. They keep bringing up the heart space, though. A lot of this is moving through the heart. I mean, the heart is the portal to mostly all things. I want to say you're hearing it, but it's like it's difficulty believing it or accepting it. But you are hearing it correctly. This is just how it's coming through. Hold on a second. I'm behind on the live, but my downloads are insane and body vibrating. Yeah, that's those are the activations, and that is the light. And it is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, it's been interesting. Sorry, I thought I saw something. Yeah, it's interesting. I visited Teotihuacan before being awakened. Oh my God, that's been on my list for years. Teotihuacan, that's been on my list forever. One of these days I'm getting there. Let's see, Wild Times, glad to see you again so soon. Thanks for don't flitch thing, you were right. You're welcome, you're welcome. I've been feeling heaviness in my chest for the past few days. Yeah, that's part of that energy too. There's a lot of people who have been receiving this. Sorry, I feel like I just yelled for no reason. Again, there's still a lot of energy moving through my body. So it also comes out like even in my voice when I get a little passionate. There's a lot of people receiving this light. A lot. It is not a small activation. It's not a small, we need to call them up now. Like, it's not small. It's not small. It's not subtle. Okay. Some people may even feel like ill or sick, but it feels way more about the nervous system than anything else. But of course, everything's connected. And so as this runs through your nervous system and your heart space, this could obviously affect other parts of your being. Hold on a second. Oh, you bought the Midnight Mushroom deck? I know it's beautiful, right? I love the art on that deck. Been moonbathing, saw you were live. What does it mean when your cycle is in sync with the full moon? That you're just in alignment with nature. That's all. You're in alignment with nature. That's all it means. You can always attach more meaning to that if you want to, or if it resonates for you. Some people feel like Having your moon time with the full moon is a little bit more of an indication that you are actually more of a intuitive psychic priestess kind of a being. I oscillate myself between new moon and full moon depending on the phase of life that I'm going through. Like if I do need to be a little bit more wow, if I do need to be a little bit more just, you know, dealing with the mundane physical reality stuff versus like being very active in my spiritual work. Um, but yeah, you're just aligned to nature. That's all. Um, which I mean, really, we are nature, right? We're in human vessels. We're in meat suits. We are nature too. So everything's connected. Um, let's see. Much love to all humanity and Mother Earth. I had a feeling you were gonna go live. I set up prayers for an eastful move. Oh, thank you, Magdalene. Thank you. I am more on a, I don't know what to call this. Like, I don't know what to call this. I'm on a bit of a journey. I guess that's just the easiest way to say. I'm on a bit of a journey. Uh, let's see. Full moon is more active and in masculine energy. There's a lot of different like ways to look at, there's a lot of ways to apply meaning to everything. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, also just to say, for those who've been receiving this, you're receiving this because your body can handle it. One, your body can handle it. Um, but it is also coming with a call. I can't stress that enough. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It's coming with a call, it's coming with a nudge. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be like crazy mission work. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could literally just be like getting your vessel ready to be in a specific location or getting yourself ready to embrace a new opportunity or to embrace a new group of people where it's like maybe you're going to be more on their frequency now, right? It doesn't have to be these crazy saving the world grandiose narratives that do get perpetuated around the spiritual community. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Um, you know your own life, you know what you want, right? And I often find more so than not, like when we receive these kinds of things, they are actually very much in line with what we desire. And they're very much in line with what we want because we are actually receiving it. So the cosmos spirit would not allow us to receive something that we actually didn't want or didn't ask for or didn't align to. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I think that says it all. I don't think I need to say more on that. Um, yeah, so if you're in the midst of that, just like be gentle with yourself. Lots of water, lots of rest. You may actually go through peaks and valleys of energy levels, like feeling like suddenly, you had like, I don't know, 3 cups of coffee, and then like suddenly you're exhausted and you just like need to sleep for like 12 hours. Your energy may fluctuate quite a bit. And you may also feel called to go to certain places, even if it's just like to your local park or whatever. Just honor that. It's just going to help it along because, again, I want to be very clear about this. A lot of these activations seem to be coinciding with people who do grid work, um, who are kind of in that category of like earth guardians or bridges. And again, even channelers, I think, are kind of in the midst of this too. Um, there is a connection to the planet and to nature and to earth that is in relation to this for people who are receiving this right now. Um, yeah, yeah. What would you say are the major differences between bridges, grid workers, and earth guardians? I mean, that's a really, I feel like the way I defined it, I think says that. I think says all of that because even within the midst of those three, they could all look like people could look very different. Like the way one person is a bridge is like completely different than another way someone else is a bridge. Same with grid working, same with grid work, same with earth guardians. Like there are some earth guardians that are like purely embedded in like political activism, right? There are some that are completely embedded in like scientific things. There's some people that are embedded in just like appreciating nature and teaching people about agriculture and things like that. Like there's so many different ways that people could resonate with those labels. And again, even like I'm just using them as labels because that's just the easy way for human brains to just understand, you know? Um, So I feel like the way I express that actually covers that really well already. Um, is it possible to be channeling the suffering in the world? Yeah, yeah. I think empaths really struggle with that. Yeah. We're all connected. Like, we don't exist in a vacuum. Every planet, every human, every planet on this human, oh, every human on this planet is connected. Like, all 8 billion of us are connected. It's just some people are going to be open to actually being aware of feeling that versus others. I think everyone feels it. They just don't know they feel it. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Yeah. Lots of deep breathing and earthing. Yeah. That was a helpful perspective. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Um, there's also some other things I wanted to talk about, but I don't know. I feel like that needs to be later. That needs to be later. There's a lot of stuff about Lemuria, and people who resonate with that or identify with that or who have um, some sort of connection or association with that. That might be later. That might be later. Let's see. Energy levels up, down, sleeping a lot, but not out of avoidance or depression, and have been visiting my local pool, needing to be in water for 2 days in a row. Yes. Yes. Some people feel more than others. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. There's like something coming up and I'm like, do I talk about this? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I should talk about that. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Again, I'm in download city right now. So there's just a lot that I'm receiving and just letting percolate. And also, actually, one more thing too, for those who are receiving these activations or this light or a calling of sort or a nudge of sorts, if you're really feeling a lot of that intensity and pressure in the back or the heart, when it does come to the surface, which it may happen in waves, it may happen periodically, it may not just be once, you may feel the need to be very vocal about it, like not just crying, but like saying certain words. Some of you may get maybe light language. Some of you may just want to like make very primal moaning vocals. Just let your body do what it needs to do to allow the energy to be received. Even if it sounds really weird, even if you're being really loud, like just let your like allow your body to do what it needs to do. Okay. And yeah, there may be a lot of interesting like primal moaning that like goes along with that again, or words or light language. Well, let's come back up here. Do you ever feel like you try to intellectualize your way through the emotional experience of being a seer, perhaps as a means of grounding or um no, I don't. There's a lot that occurs that just I mostly just go, oh, that is what it is. I, you know, um, no, I think that it is important to integrate though. I think that actually, you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. This is actually a really important topic that I don't think gets talked about nearly enough. So people who embrace this kind of work, whatever we're going to call it, light work, uh, channeling, healing, spiritual, whatever, whatever your label is for that. I think there are people who move into it very naturally, and I think there are people that actually just decide it's something they want to do, and they like actually put force into embracing this kind of work. And people find their way into it in different ways. I'm not here to say one way is right or wrong or the other, but when this kind of work gets embraced, in order to do this kind of work, there does have to be this like this awareness of self, right? There has to be this understanding of you and all of your parts, and then what the work is, and then also just being human and like having a very integrated whole experience on this planet in this meat suit. Because at the end of the day, we are human. No matter what we do in our human experience, even if we're called to do, right, like this kind of work, we're still human, and that still needs to be part of it. And when we move through these things, sometimes there's a lot that goes on, psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes it's very fast. Sometimes it's also just a lot and it overloads or it overwhelms, right? So having an integration process is pivotal. That is pivotal. I think there are a lot of people that end up like removing themselves from this kind of space, this kind of work, or even unfortunately go through so much that they get kind of lost in it, or they get kind of disassociated or disconnected from themselves because they're not having an integration with it or an integration process. Um, and that's really important, right? Because when we integrate, I know that's kind of a broad word, so we can get deeper into that, but integrating is like it's allowing yourself to actually take the time to be fully cognizant and fully embodied with what you have gone through, with what you've gone through, with what you've seen, what you've felt, what you've come into awareness of. It doesn't always have to be intellectualized. I think for some people that helps, but also I think that can actually work against us in a way, right? Because again, some things just are what they are, and the acceptance of that is actually the most important part of integration versus the pulling it apart kind of a thing. Um, the way that I speak about all this stuff does have an intellectual component, but that's because that's part of my calling. That's part of my work. That's part of why I'm here. It's like everything that I'm saying to you is not me sitting here going like, well, if that, then that, then that, then that. It's I receive it this way. I receive it this way, and then I share it this way. Because part of my work and part of my calling is to support people in their integration process of a lot of this stuff that's going on, that has gone on, with all these kind of processes. Because the human mind, the ego, does like that, and for some people, it is very supportive. Um, yeah. So I just trust that how it's given to me is how it needs to be said. That's also why you see me stop a lot when I'm trying to find the right word. It's like because words are powerful, right? Um, and there are a lot of times where very specific words do need to be used for that. Like even if you look at my human design, it's like when I started getting into that, which I'm not really into that, it's like I know very, very little about human design. I think it's interesting. I'm clearly more of an astrology person, even though it's based off astrology, but whatever. I digress, not important. Um, but when I did learn about my human design, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like it just clicked for me, like, oh, that resonates with like how things feel for me or how I experience things. Um, yeah, anyway, I feel like we went a little off the rails there. So integration. Integration is incredibly important. And again, I do think that some people get caught up in this idea or this trap of like more is better, or they got to get to a certain point with like gifts or tuning in or what have you without really stopping for a minute to go like, well, where how do I actually feel about all of what I've experienced? How do I feel about what I'm experiencing now? Is this actually for me? Is this not for me? Do I, it's like to stop and just ask those important questions along the way. Um, but to also give yourself permission to slow down, right? To slow down and take that presence to integrate properly. And I do think too, for people who prioritize integration, and this is something actually this whole last year, I feel like how do I want to say, I was coming to a new level of understanding about it in my own practice, is that there is a way that you can, excuse me, integrate more presently in the moment, like as moments pass. Oh God, that's so weird. Hold on, let me say that another way. Um, where you can almost integrate more simultaneously versus requiring a long period of time. But I think that's contingent upon where someone's at in their own development with that skill of integration, because everyone integrates differently. And that's something that only you can learn by your experience. I do think people can teach it. I think people can teach it. I think people can hold space for people to learn that on their own. But at the end of the day, like you need to identify that for yourself of what integration looks like and feels like and how that works for you. No one can tell you this is what works for you. You have to figure that out on your own. But I do think people can help you get there. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's all that needs to be said about integration. I just heard about this very topic all week long. That age of knowledge can be a double-edged sword and make us feel like we have to jump from start to finish. Integration is the journey. Yeah, integration is embodiment. It's embodiment. And embodiment is the key to just living a whole present life, right? That's true peace is embodiment. It's not the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, right? That's kind of old programming, right? Integration and embodiment is presence. Yeah. And I guess also just to say, like anyone on here, like if you have felt like you've struggled with your own experience with the spiritual community or certain experiences you've had that are spiritually related or healing or just life and being a little sensitive, right? Maybe it's not about spirituality. Maybe you're just a sensitive person and you feel things really strongly. And so because you feel things really strongly, it is hard to like be in that kind of state of embodiment. You're not alone in that. And there are plenty of people who've gone through that. And I guess I just want to encourage you to say, like, to just stop and take a minute to really assess for yourself what feels right for you and what you want. And for some people, I do feel like some people have like rejected some of these things because they just didn't have the integration tools, right? Like I feel like I've seen people like opt out or walk away from things that brought them true fulfillment because they just didn't have the integration tools available to them. So wherever that takes you. Oh, guess that's my cue. My phone's giving me a warning. Literally, it sent a warning wanting to create online spaces for intentional movement to process and integrate and release and heal. Sacred greetings from Kenya. Oh, hello, Kenya. You've been a super companion for years now, and I done been telling people, may your earth angels find you, only to watch your earth angel video recently, and I'm one. See, love it, love it. Thank you for saying that. What are your thoughts on tanzanite? Oh my God. Okay, it's funny you bring that up too. That is a stone I haven't thought about in forever until literally like a month ago. I was like, right, I was packing. Was that a month ago already? I don't know. Time is really weird right now. Time is so weird right now. And I came across some tanzanite and I was like, whoa, I could just completely forgot about it. I don't really have an opinion, to be honest with you. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't like, I think it's really pretty. I do enjoy it. The energy to me off of tanzanite, at least the tanzanite that I've come in contact with, feels very soothing for me. But I also believe that crystals feel differently to different people, right? Because of your own vibration. But in terms of like any other information about it, I don't know anything else. I don't know like tangible information about tanzanite. If I do, I can't recall it in this moment. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I just wanted to put a little PSA for grid workers, bridges, and earth guardians out there who are going through this right now. It's very intense. It's very intense. I do think some people may experience it as like a rebirthing energy of sorts. Every time I start talking about it again, the dragons just want to come up. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. I still have some things I gotta do. I actually need to do some personal readings tonight before I get too tired and too overwhelmed by more downloads. I must have missed the entire message about what you spoke on LOL will watch after the live ends. Oh, it was in the very beginning, pretty much. Well, very beginning? I don't know. It was in the first like half of the video at least. It's basically I'm just giving confirmation for those who like maybe experiencing a lot of intensity around receiving these activations, receiving this energy, receiving this light. Just confirmation of what they're going through. And just how like and just a clear indication that it's a lot of people. This is not a small thing. This is not a small activation. A lot of people are receiving this right now. And that it is actually having an impact on the like on nature. It's having an impact with the seismology of the planet right now, which is interesting. Which is very interesting. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I'm learning I'm a projector and not in my authority all my life. And how sharing my wisdom isn't appreciated unless invited. Just wow. Oh yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And also, if you're just getting into human design, I would definitely take a look at your gates. Because I didn't know this until like maybe the last like 2 years. Some gates are like generator gates or projector gates or what have you. So I'm technically a generator, but my primary gates are mostly projector. And my solar plexus is like completely open and undefined. There's no active gates anywhere on my solar plexus. Anyway, just to say that like I am a generator, but I don't like operate fully like a generator or experience life completely like a generator. Um, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Are we talking gene keys? We're talking human design, but gene keys is also really interesting too. Um, Gene keys and human design, I didn't get a chance to confirm this because again, these aren't disciplines that I've like studied intensely. But when I've compared my gene keys to my human design, which I've only done a couple times, I noticed a lot of the numbers were aligning with each other, and I was like, is there something I'm missing? Like, is there some sort of how do I want to say? Like, I don't know if there's some sort of link between the two outside of the fact that they're both based off of astrology, but like in terms of the keys and the channels, like I don't know if there's something there. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to really confirm it because I haven't studied those disciplines in detail. Um, yeah, yeah. I won't lie, a part of me really wants to share my experience about Shasta because it was like I didn't really realize until after I left of like how impactful it was for me because it it was an interesting experience, but I don't think this is the place or the time, but maybe later. Finding out I was a projector helped heal a lot of trauma. Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I do feel for projectors. I do. I do. And it's funny because most people I've attracted into my life throughout my life have been projectors. And which is also kind of strange because projectors are rare, right? It's like they don't take up most of the population. But almost everyone I've dated seriously were projectors, which is crazy. Also, my mom's a projector, but you know, not the same. But there's something about that with projectors and generators. Um, Shasta has crazy energy. It just like reading that comment just makes me want to talk about it. Um, Yeah, I like so if you haven't been to Shasta, just and I'm only speaking about it from my personal experience, and I'm not going to share everything. I'm just going to share these couple of things. Um, it was my first time. I had heard some things. I hadn't heard a lot about it, but I was curious to like go and have my first experience with it. And I would actually like equate it to like if Sedona and Big Bear and Hawaii had a baby, it would be Mount Shasta, which is actually really cool, you know? When I was on Shasta, I could hear spirits so clear, like an antenna was on my head. Yeah, I was gonna say, of all the places I've been, um, well, okay, no, I'm not gonna say all the places I've been, but I was surprised at how aware I was of how the land really belongs to the spirits there. That land belongs to the spirits and the fae. There's no doubt about it. They run the show. And I mean, at times it was kind of funny. Like, as someone who like this has like literally been my life, my entire life, like being able to be aware of these kinds of things, um, like of how they run the show was kind of comedic, but towards the end of my stay, I'm not gonna lie, it got a little physical for me, and I'm like, I do want to come back, but I think I'm leaving at the perfect time. So, it was it was an experience to say the least. Yeah, even compared to Sedona, like, well, actually, okay. So when I first went to Sedona, this was years ago. Years ago. Like, how old am I? We're talking like maybe 15 years ago, roughly, give or take, the first time I went there before it really became what it is now. I mean, it was like it still was, more developed than it was, 30 years ago. But very different than the Sedona now. And in that same vein of how different it was, it also, I don't want to say. The intensity. The intensity of the energy in Sedona, the intensity of the impact of like the vortex energy and even spirits there were a lot louder and a lot more prominent and potent than they are now. Um, so it's interesting because like yeah, I remember like my first experience and all the weird crazy things that happened, very akin actually to Mount Shasta, my experience in Mount Shasta, now that I think about it, but definitely more Fae than I expected in Mount Shasta. They were just so visible. It was so crazy. And again, very loud and even physical. Don't know if I repeated myself. Anyway. When I was on, oh no, yeah, I read that one. Um, I'd love to hear about it, visit. It's totally worth a visit. It's totally worth a visit. Grew up Cali, Shasta crazy. Sorry, I'm being annoying, but one more time. Guides versus entity attachments. Any thoughts? Connect to guides through cords or ever let one in? When my guides talk to me, I like, oh, that's such an interesting question. Like, let them in. I don't really need to like let guides in, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's like, yeah, like my relationship with my guides, it's not contingent upon me letting them in. It's like they're always, I don't know how else, I don't have the words for that. Um, I guess actually, okay, let me say it another way. Maybe just be careful with that. Because, like, guides who are there to, like, truly support you and love you, they don't need to cross any boundary with you. You know what I mean? And to me, that's crossing a boundary, like, to let, like, like, an energy in. Um, and I don't need to do that with my guides to receive their guidance or their support or instruction or love. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's just felt like that's how I just wanted to be said, I guess. Alejandra, hi, hi. She's about to sign off soon, I think. I keep trying to, but you guys know how it is. Um, I have recently been praying for only my benevolent ancestors and guides to work with me, as I discovered some ancestors did not really want to help, but just be nosy. Some ancestors do be like that. Some ancestors do be like that. Speaking of, actually, that might be worth talking about. Or is that a different video? Again, so much has gone on in the last few days. There's, for a lot of people, the ancestors have gotten very loud. For a lot of people. And I mean, technically speaking, you go back far enough, all of our ancestors are the same, right? Technically speaking. But yeah, I've just been very aware of that with myself. And then I also started to kind of just like, you know, picking up on other people's conversations about things and just observing, being a seer, right? Just observing what's going on. Yeah, the ancestors are super loud right now. And thank you, Spirit. They're correcting me. Not correcting me, they're giving me information. Especially those who are going through these activations. Some of you may identify it as a birthright, actually. Yeah, some of you may identify it as a birthright. I feel like that ties into Lemuria. It's way too much. There's way too much going on right now. There's gonna be videos that come out. There's gonna be more videos that come out because I feel like I'm also still receiving a lot of downloads that may actually be related to some of this other stuff. But I'm literally hearing ancestral homelands. Like I'm literally hearing that right now. Yeah, there's gonna be more videos because they literally just gave me a couple more pieces of information relating to something I like that came up, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna talk about that. Yeah, so there's gonna be other videos that come out in the time they need to. Let's see. This is my first year really paying attention to how my ancestors have affected me. Jupiter being in Cancer brought that up a lot for people, especially for the first time. I've talked about this before, but Cancer representing the fourth house and the natal IC, like the original zodiac IC, right, is the root. It is the root. Cancer represents family. Cancer represents the mother from which all of us come from. Cancer also represents the past. And so Jupiter being there has brought a lot of awareness to that for a lot of people. Um, yeah, yeah. For some reason, I can't find my abuela's picture. I couldn't put her on my altar. Oh, interesting. Hmm, interesting. Why do I feel like some other ancestors made sure you couldn't find that picture? That's kind of the vibe I get. I could be wrong. I think you could just, tune in and ask. That was the vibe I got. Like other ancestors made sure you couldn't find that picture. Sorry, so much, so much. Looking forward to Lemuria video. I wish I had a better connection to my ancestors, but I don't feel like I do. It's different for everybody. It's different for everybody, and I think also sometimes what impacts our connection to our ancestors is trauma. Let's just keep it real, right? Like generational trauma can absolutely impact how we are connected to our ancestors or not, or how open or closed we are to them or not. How could it not, right? Hold on, let's see. There are many in the spiritual community who possess the gift, but their ego, fear, and delivery undermines messages, often causing damage they wouldn't have been allowed to practice in ancient times. But they're gifted, not ready, and their intentions are not harmful, just a byproduct of their own need to grow. Yeah, I think that's a phase that a lot of people do go through, and some people stay in it for a long time, and some people don't. Because the reality is like people come into this in their own way, in their own time, right? With their own stuff they got to work through. And at the end of the day, it's always a choice and a readiness of when someone's actually able to like look at that part of themselves. And also, we're growing all the time. We're learning about ourselves all the time. It's like the more we grow, the more we reflect and go, oh, why did I handle it this way? Why did I handle it that way? Even if you felt like you were in integrity with something, you're going to always find a way where maybe you weren't, or an instance where you weren't. And, it's just kind of part of it. I have the opportunity to move back to my ancestral homelands to develop my grandma's land. Whoa, to prevent her husband from selling her property she's had for 5 generations. I want to, but it's a lot. Oh my God, wow. That's a crazy opportunity. Well, you said you want to, so I do hope that you are able to do so if it's something that you clearly really want. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. There are so many people that don't have access to their ancestral homelands, you know? And again, technically, if you go back far enough, we all got the same ancestors, if you go back far enough, right? Um, but yeah, that's incredible. I found a picture of my abuelo with his dad, and I have them on the altar. Is she mad about it? Maybe only include my dad's baby sis. I only met her for a week as a child, my abuela. That was just the vibe I got. I feel like it's something I'm not supposed to dive into or tune in, or like, you know what I mean? Like get deep into it. I'll say it that way. It's just something I sense. Like when I read what you said or read what you wrote, I literally saw hands grabbing something. Like that's what I saw. I saw hands grabbing a frame, or it's just the symbology of like, oh, like something moved it into a different place, like intentionally. That's what I saw. So that's the vibe that I got off of what I saw. I think it's for you to explore, not for me to touch. Um, but yeah, I'd be curious. I'd be curious what comes of that with a little talk you may have with your ancestors about that, because that's interesting. Um, that sounds incredible, but definitely could see that being a lot. Yeah, the Guam, yeah, that would be a lot. But God, what an opportunity! Like my Capricorn's like, do it. My inner Capricorn's like, you'll find a way, just figure it out. But no, that could be a lot. That really could be a lot. Um, Let's see. You're being entrusted with a great gift. Don't see it as a burden, but try not to judge yourself for the ways you feel intimidated by the opportunity. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's incredible. You don't have to say yes, but it seems like you really want to. And that's the thing too. It's like it's easy to look at something and go, "Whoa, that's way bigger than me." Baby steps go a long way. You know what I mean? Baby steps go a long way to just like build the bigger thing or to finally get there. But if you decide it's too much for you, I think that's totally valid, you know? I'm ready to. It's just a matter of leaving my apartment in Hawaii. Let's see. Oh my God, the drama, LOL. I expect that with my mom's side of the family, not my dad's side. Well, please keep me updated. I'm curious. I'm very curious. Um, excuse me. Sorry, Lemuria's coming up again. Okay. I was asking them like what is okay to share right now because I can tell I'm still getting downloads. Um, the only thing they want me to say in relation to Lemuria, because they're okay. Let me give a little context here. Lemuria means different things to different people. Okay. And even for myself, the way I look at Lemuria, Atlantis, all of that, I look at it as like a realm of consciousness or just a realm is like I think the best way to look at it for me from my lens. It's just for me. um Everyone has their own memories and take on Lemuria, Avalon, Atlantis, all of that. So whatever resonates for you resonates for you, and I, there's validity in that always. So just to preface what I'm about to say with that, um ambassadors have been chosen. That's what they said is okay to share. Ambassadors have been chosen. So that's what I'm gonna say, at least right now. Let's see. Question: do you ever sense a feeling of heavy humidity energetically? It's interesting. I'm like wrapping my brain around that question. Do you ever sense a feeling of heavy humidity energetically? I'm really having a hard time digesting that question. Yeah, can you elaborate? I'm like, my brain is like not processing that. Let's see. Kind of look up the definition of ambassador. It's like a representative. Thank you for the support. I will take the baby steps first. Yeah, baby steps, and just see how it feels. You can always, you know, opt out at any point. You know what I mean? It's like, nothing is set in stone in this life. Like, well, almost nothing is set in stone. Very few things are. Just start looking into it, getting a feel for what you would need. What would a plan look like? Baby step the plan, baby step the research, and see how you feel. Oh, Marcy! Hey, Marcy. So I walk in and we're talking ambassadors after watching this new season of The Diplomat. I don't even know that show, but it kind of says it all. Yeah, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Lemuria is like Atlantis. I don't know what. Alejandra. Hold on. Oh, comments are flying. But I think base near Mount Shasta. An authorized messenger representative. Yeah. I'm so tempted to chime in here on the Lemuria stuff. Like I said, Lemuria, Atlantis, Avalon, all of that means very different things to a lot of different people. So whatever it means to you, honor that. Because whatever it means to you is that for a very specific reason. I think it's always good to be open-minded to what other people have to say, right? But your resonance is your resonance. Always honor your resonance, even if it doesn't align with what I'm saying to you, because we're all different for a reason, including how we look at those things. I actually talked about this a lot on Patreon. I think it was for the full moon Taurus. I know Marcy prompted that question on Patreon, but yeah, we went into that quite a bit. Let me see here. Do you know about energy points of the body and whether they're connected to other conscious bodies? Oh, that's a big question too. So I do see into the body. I work a lot with the body. I work a lot with moving energy through the body, including emotions and memories. You could say frequencies. That's like more of a niche thing. In terms of other bodies, at times, yes. It always happens in ceremony for me. It's not work that I share a lot here. I share about it a little bit with patrons, but Actually, not in the detail of what actually I do see and feel in the body. Um, so short answer is yes. Short answer is yes. But I probably should go. Like I said, I do got some stuff I gotta do tonight. And again, there may be some more videos coming. I also feel like it would be nice to kind of do a reading for YouTube. The next couple days are going to be kind of interesting though. Um, but yeah, I may be talking more about this stuff in the upcoming days. So yeah, so I'm going to depart. So I hope you've enjoyed this little hangout slash transmission. Let's see. I feel like I have schizophrenia. Is this a thing, or is the voices in my head? If you feel like you have schizophrenia, I'm always an advocate for people to rule that out or confirm it, right? Like by way of professional services, you know? Because if you're suspecting that, it doesn't hurt to get it ruled out, you know? Um, but at the end of the day, only you can discern if that's the right choice for you. Thank you for all your time and energy. Reading up through comments, that sounds exactly about your Grand Land, but leaving Hawaii would be hard. Yeah, leaving Hawaii would be hard. Yeah. Wish you all the best for tomorrow with all the feels. Yeah. Well, I'm conscious and I know it's separate from me. How do we know if it's guided? The way I feel when my guides speak to me, it's very like, God, I feel like I'm just like, it's such like a normal thing in my day to day now. At this point in my life, I'm like, how do I even describe like of how it makes me feel? Because it's like an everyday thing. Um, I feel very supported by them. I feel very supported. I feel very loved. I feel very safe. But I don't feel like, okay, here's a good way. I don't feel like they interrupt my life. Like, I don't feel like they interrupt my ability to function, to live, to focus. Um, so maybe that's a good discerning factor. Um, yeah, working with my guides, hearing my guides, like it doesn't impede my functionality or my focus as a human, as a person. It's just like a constant flow of just love and support and guidance. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. I hope it does. I feel like it would depend on if the voices make you feel anxious or feel fearful or not. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to discern. Yeah, I think that communicates it. But also I don't have experience with schizophrenia either, and I am not a professional, right? When it comes to those kinds of things. So, you know, if you are worried about it, I think it wouldn't hurt to get it ruled out or confirm it, you know? Because, I mean, worst case scenario, if it gets confirmed, then you can start formulating a game plan as to how to manage it, right? How to navigate it. And, you know, I know for some people that could be a really scary diagnosis, but there are a lot of professionals out there who like that is their whole job. That is their whole career. That's a passion for them to help people through that, you know? Yeah. So I just hope either way you have that confirmed for you or ruled out. Still best to have it checked into if concerned. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I need to depart now. But thank you for hanging out here with me for this, you know, little bit of atypical transmission for BOMISpirit over here. I'm wondering if we're going to have more of these. I don't know. But it just felt right. So I'm glad I put it out there. And I just wish you guys all the best. I hope you have a great night. I hope you really enjoy the full moon Taurus. And yeah, you guys will see me all soon. I feel like tomorrow is a trip. Well, I'll be on the road tomorrow personally, so maybe you're picking up on that. I know that like the full moon is bringing in a lot of interesting energies. Like there's no doubt. I mean, we talked about it a lot over the weekend, right? On Patreon. I still can't believe we sat there for 5 hours. I still can't get over that. When I went back to do the timestamps, I was like, we really sat with each other for 5 hours. Amazing though. It was such a fun time. It really was. Thank you and take care of yourself as well. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Have a good night and I'll see y'all later, okay? Bye. Take care.